Hello, my name is Curtis, and I want to welcome you to our new YouTube channel. And what we want to focus on are the stories that you have regarding Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Yeti, whatever you want to call him. And if you have a story of, of other paranormal activities, maybe Goat Man or um, perhaps maybe even ghosts or UFOs. Whatever your stories are, you're welcome to send them to me. I will not judge you. My experience took place over 40 years ago, and it took that long for me to become secure enough to tell others about it. To be honest with you, I spent like 30 years in law enforcement, and so my credibility was very important to me. So I didn't share my story. I retired. Let's see, it was 2016. And at that time, I started browsing the internet and YouTube, and I found some people on there with other channels. People like West at Sasquatch Chronicles and Dave at Pac West Bigfoot. And recently, I came across a channel that was recommended by my son called Matt Squatch. And right now, these are the only three that I follow because it's hard enough to figure out what these creatures are without having the water stirred by unsubstantiated theory. I think we learn from Charles Darwin that we shouldn't put a whole lot of stock in theory. Anyhow, let me tell you my story. So you might want to kick your feet up, uh, grab you a nice drink of whatever your favorite non-intoxicant or intoxicant may be, and just settle in and enjoy the campfire tales. My encounter. As a kid, our dad was in the construction business, and he loved to travel. So as a result, we lived in several states, including Washington and Oregon. These are two of my most favorite states in the whole U.S. One time, when I was in second grade, we lived in a place outside a small town called Orting, Orting, Washington. And in our in our backyard, kind of, was this hill that my mom always called the Puyallup Mountain. Don't know what it is. It's still there, obviously. But we would hear screams and screeches coming off that mountain, and oh my gosh, and make the hair stand up on your neck. But the only thing we found in the area, we found some giant on the hill, the mountain. Found some giant barefoot tracks and some brown colored hair. And I guess it was about that time somebody had mentioned, stay off the mountain. The hairy man lives there, you know, and they eat kids and all this kind of stuff. So we stayed off the mountain. Now this fast forward to 1976. Our nomadic family again moved. This time it was back to Texas, our home state. And we settled just outside a small town about 35 miles south of Fort Worth on Interstate 35, the town of Grandview. Anyhow, back to the boogers. While we were living out there, we lived on a farm, and my brother's first wife, who at the time was, I guess, his fiance, she came from Washington and was living with our family out at the farm. Well, she had gotten a job working 3 to 11, 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. at a nursing home in the nearby town of Alvarado. And we were supposed to go pick her up. So my brother, he's like, hey, will you drive us over to Alvarado and pick up the girl? And I said, yeah, let's go. So being a kid, we stayed off the main roads as much as possible. It's just kind of didn't really want to be out on the interstate type thing. Too many kooks out there. So my brother, my sister, and I drove to Alvarado and we picked up the girlfriend. Nothing happened on the way. Everything was cool on the way back until we got about a mile and a half, maybe, from our home, the farm. And I rounded a corner and I had my lights on dim, the headlights. And so I rounded this corner and there's like a little hill that you start to drop off of. It goes down to a little ravine. And just as the headlights start to pan down, I see something in the road. And I'm thinking, what is that? It's on four legs, not like it's not bent. The hind legs are not bent like a person that would be on all fours. They were more straight, and the front legs were more straight, and the back was level. And I thought, no, there hasn't been bear here in forever. What is it? Then it stood up, and when it stood up, it turned and was facing the car. And I'll never forget it. What am I seeing? What am I seeing? I put my lights on bright, and the eye shine from this creature. It was already red with the headlights on low. And when I flicked them on to bright, they just shone brighter. But I was able to get a better image of this, though I cannot recall the face. It wasn't the kind of thing that you see on all these YouTube Bigfoot stuff. The closest thing that I have seen was Matt Squatch. He talks about the 10 different types of Bigfoot, and the best I can come up with is the wood booger. But at that time, I had no doubt in my mind that I was looking at some sort of Bigfoot, some kind. It was, it was probably 7.5 to 8 foot tall, and probably 700 pounds. Shoulders were a good 4 foot wide, and I don't remember, the it tapering down like a muscle builder or anything like that. It was just like this huge, solid creature that had hair all over it. And um, the funny thing, I don't know if it was caused by the headlight shining on hair, or if it was actually part of his hair pattern, but there was a white V, a large white V. Looked like it kind of started right under his chin and went down between the nipple area. Probably stopped just above the sternum. But then this thing, I was scared to death. I thought, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? And it turned away from us and continued walking across the road on 2 feet. And it took like 3 steps, and then it was into a fence row. This fence row, had sporadic trees in it, and like 2 or 3 here and there, and not real thick. And on the other side of the fence row was nothing, just open pasture. And this thing went and stepped over the fence, about a 4-foot fence, and then disappeared. And my sister started yelling at me, "Go, go, go!" And so I was driving slowly, thinking, you know, I'll see it again. It just walked across the road, but it was gone. And we didn't stick around. We didn't go back looking for it either in the daylight. We did, however, tell our parents about it, and just a few short months later, we moved. Um, I never told anybody about this, and then after we moved into town, this guy and this girl that I went to school with, I had stopped at a gas station, convenience store, and they suddenly drove into the parking lot and very rapidly and slammed on the brakes, and he jumps out of the car, and she's still in the car, and they're both just crying their eyes out. And he's like, go get your dad's guns, go get your dad's guns. And I'm like, wait, whoa, 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 what's going on? And he's like, we saw a monster out by your old house. It chased us, and then it grabbed um, a sign on the side of the road and bent it double. And I'm like, can you tell me what this thing looked like? And he told me, and it was the exact description of what I had seen a few months earlier. Now let's jump forward to 2018. I contacted this girl on Facebook Messenger and asked her if she remembered the story. And she recounted it to me, saying that they had not just seen it once, but twice. Like I say, it's funny that I lived in Washington, Oregon for several years, but and heard of the hairy man slash Bigfoot, but I never saw anything like it till I was back in Texas. Anyhow, guys, this is my story, and I don't care who believes it. It doesn't negate the fact that it's true. Um, I want to welcome you guys to email your stories to me. And if you would, like and subscribe our channel, and maybe share this story. Get other people who have experienced things. Believe me, I've experienced lots of things, and you may think I'm a kook by the time you quit following me, but anyhow, sure would like to include some of your stories. Okay, thanks a lot. Hope you enjoyed my story, and God bless you. Bye.